What's up everybody, Brett Medlock here. Today I wanted to talk about that brand new NES controller Joy-Cons that just got announced for Nintendo Switch. Awesome looking little Joy-Cons. Unfortunately, they only work with the NES online games that come with the Nintendo Online subscription service. So you can't use them to play Breath of the Wild or anything, and obviously you wouldn't really be able to because of the fact that there's not enough buttons on the controller in general. So while they do slide into the Switch and you might be able to use them like in the menus or something, I don't think you'll be able to use them at all with any type of game, unless maybe that's patched down the line by developers allowing you to only use that many buttons in their game, maybe for some indie titles, I'm not sure. But as of right now, these are only working on the NES games. Now, this sort of is confusing because Nintendo is simultaneously releasing their classic, like their NES Classic, their SNES Classic. Many assume the N64 Classic. I was hoping that would get announced, but it didn't. Maybe it's never going to happen. Maybe they only plan on doing these two. But, I mean, you got to think Nintendo knew they were planning on putting these NES games on the Switch. So why did they not have a USB connector inside of the NES Mini and the SNES Mini instead of that weird like Wii Remote plug-in? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it would have been great for people who just bought the NES Classic and the SNES Classic if we could have used those controllers on the Switch. It doesn't really make any sense as to why Nintendo would have used the Wii Remote plug-in when they knew they were going to be putting these games on the Switch. We know those controllers can work perfectly fine on the Switch. There's like adapters and whatnot and everything that prove that. I'm sure people would have loved to use the controllers they just got for their NES Classic and their SNES Classic on their Nintendo Switch, and now we can't. Now there's this separate $60 thing where it's a Joy-Cons you slide into your Switch, and you can't use them for anything else except the NES games. I just don't really think that's really consumer friendly. It kind of bums me out. And it really confuses me, but be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. That's not all I wanted to get to. There's also some information that was uncovered by Kotaku UK. They have said that some hackers got into the Switch before the update that happened, right after the update that happened and before the announcements were made, that there are logos that match the NES Joy-Con controllers, but they're in more of like a SNES style look, and there's also like Super Famicom. So that's really interesting. That pretty much confirms that sooner or later we're going to get SNES games on this online subscription service. Pretty sure everyone already knew that, like we all knew that was going to happen basically. But what I find interesting about this is that if they keep on planning to do these controller like slide-in Joy-Cons, what's stopping them from using like half a GameCube controller and then the other half a GameCube controller on the other side? Obviously this is a little different because on each side you're getting a full-blown controller from those consoles like the NES and the SNES. But with the GameCube, you obviously couldn't do that. You couldn't slide a whole GameCube controller on the side of the Switch. It would just look ridiculous. I mean, you never know. Nintendo's really weird, so maybe they would do that. I think that it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. People have been clamoring for GameCube, like backwards compatibility, not backwards compatibility, but you know what I mean, like a GameCube, like digital collection on Switch for like pretty much since the Switch got announced. And I think Nintendo knows that. Nintendo has been catering to a lot of gamers' needs. Obviously, they're kind of a strange company. It seems like every time they take 2 steps forward, they take 3 steps back. But I definitely could see like the GameCube thing happening. And honestly, like since we didn't get a Super Mario Sunshine World and Super Mario Odyssey, I wouldn't be completely surprised if they're not remastering that game, because despite it being on like sort of the bottom of everybody's list, not mine, it's toward the top, it's still a great Mario game, and I think there's a lot of like quality of life changes that they could make to Super Mario Sunshine to make it just amazing. And just the fact that it's set in like a tropical setting, I would love to see that like remade or even like remastered even on the Switch in HD. I think it would look fantastic even by today's standards because Nintendo's art style just ages so well. But that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. It wasn't really my normal news block. I sort of like ranted at the beginning, but I wanted to get into like what we could possibly see on the Switch, what controllers. Like if you think about it, this Nintendo like NES Joy-Cons, they sort of changed everything. Like we could see anything now. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to give us N64 slide-ins like half the controller. I don't know how they would do that with the one joystick, but I wouldn't put it past Nintendo. They're a very strange company, but ever since the Switch got announced, we all envisioned like being able to slide in different types of controllers. That would just, it'd be perfect. But like I said, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This has been Nintendo News Block. I'm Brett Medlock. I will talk to you guys later.